this problem, and again, another word problem, here they tell you, again, all the clues are in the sentence. So here I know that there's a one-time registration fee of this. And I also know that there is a $150 per movie rental. Okay? So, and then I see the word in math that means plus. And. Okay, so I already know that it's going to be one-time registration fee of $14.95 plus $150 per movie. When you see per, that means times. So this is a multiplication. So I already know that I'm going to multiply. Okay, now the next one, it says if Frank has $75, so Frank only has $75 to join, what is the maximum, here's another clue, maximum number of movies he can rent? So we do our UPSI. We understand that we need to do $14.95 plus, from here, $150 times the movies. So we already know that. We also know that Frank only has $75 to spend. And we know that we're looking for for movies. Looking for number of movies, and like I got ahead of myself. If I'm looking for movies, that's the variable that I want to look for. So that's going to be X. So movies is going to equal to X. Now here it says maximum number, which means that it is not going to be an inequality, or not an equation. It's going to be an inequality because of the word maximum. Maximum means that or less. That's the top you can spend. You can spend less than that, or in this case, there can be less movies than that, but not any more movies than that, because he only has $75. So Frank can spend $75. He can spend less than $75, but he cannot spend more than, just like the number of movies. So that means that I have an inequality here, and that inequality would be that or less. So that means less than or equal to. Okay, so over here, we can add this over here, less than or equal to $75. So now in the plan, I already know that I have to do the $14.95 plus the $150. Now I know that movies, I'm calling them X, so $150X, and I know that it is an inequality. It's not going to be equal to $75 because Frank can spend less than that if he wants to, but he cannot spend any more because he doesn't have any more money. So it's going to be $75 here. Okay, so here in the planning part, we are going to do our inequality. In the solving part, we're going to do our inequality. By moving first, or by putting our line down the middle. So I'm going to put my line down the middle of that. Okay, the first thing I want to get rid of is the $14.95. So minus $14.95 minus $14.95. Now I know in the test you use a calculator, but just to make sure, 75 is a whole number, 75 whole dollars. So that means those zeros were left over, but they're still there. Okay, so now we're going to do $75 minus $14.95. You can round it up to 15, and you know 75 minus 15 is 60. And then you have those extra 5 cents if you're doing mental math. They zeroed out, but you still have the 150x. As our last step, we want to get rid of that 150 so that x is alone. So when they're together, they're being multiplied, so the opposite is divide. So we divide by 150, we divide by 150. And then we get x is less than or equal to 40.03 repeating. Now, remember, this is a real life situation. We're asking for movies. We cannot say that they can rent less than or equal to 40.03 repeating movies. You cannot have 0.03 repeating part of a movie. It has to be whole number movies. If we round to 41, this cannot happen because then he would go over his $75. So that means that we have to round down. And if you round, regular numbers, this is a 0, so it stays at 40. So the number of movies has to be less than or equal to 40 movies so that he does not go over his $75 spending limit. And that was the answer to that problem.